Hi, good afternoon. My name is Jenna Tews. I am the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service Ludington Biological Station Supervisor, and it is certainly my pleasure to provide the sea lamprey control report for Lake Michigan from 2023. I have some great updates as well as some 2024 plans, and look forward to your questions at the end. So due to the devastating impacts of sea lamprey on many of the fish species in the basin, and understanding that sea lamprey predation is a limiting factor in the restoration of native species in Lake Michigan, the Lake Michigan Committee adopted a fish community objective, or a goal, for sea lamprey control to suppress sea lamprey to allow the achievement of other fish community objectives. So to measure the success, or how well we're doing in achieving this goal or reaching the objective, we have two metrics of success. The first is a target index of adult sea lampreys, or the adult population out in the lake, set at 35,000 individuals, and a target of 5 fresh marks per 100 lake trout greater than 532 millimeters. So the first metric of success is generated from adult assessment traps deployed in a subset of streams in Lake Michigan, and this is to estimate the lake-wide index of sea lamprey. So during 2023, just over 7,200 adult sea lampreys were captured in 9 tributaries, 6 of which are index locations. So from those 6 index locations, mark recapture estimates were generated for all 6 streams, for an adult index, or an adult sea lamprey population, of 24,000 sea lampreys. And in the map here, each of those lettered dots represents those trapping locations, and again, 6 of those being index trap sites. So this figure shows the adult index estimates of sea lamprey over time, with the horizontal dotted line representing that metric for success, or that index target of 35,000 individuals. The adult index in 2023 was 24,000, which is below the target of 35,000. And I know last year when I was here, we were well above target at that 50,000 individuals in Lake Michigan. So you can see that having recovered from limited travel associated with COVID-19, we have been able to bring that adult index, or adult sea lamprey population, back down well below that targeted line. So that second metric of success, the lake trout marking, or wounding rates, this figure shows marking over time. So the number of A1 to A3 marks on lake trout from fall assessments in 2023 was 2.6 marks per 100 lake trout, which is just a slight uptick from the year before, but still well below that solid black line being that 5 mark target for Lake Michigan. So how do we do this? How do we achieve these metrics of success? How are we below target in both the adult index or abundance and marking or wounding rates? And we do this primarily through lampricide control. So for 2023, this map shows a listing of 21 lampricide or TFM stream treatments and 1 lentic area. The red circle at the top of northern Lake Michigan represents 2 streams that were not treated and would be referred to as deferral treatments that will be tackled again in 2024. And this was in part due to challenges that we experienced throughout the field season due to low discharge. And those 2 deferred streams were Marblehead and Sainers Creeks. So here in this graphic, we overlay the adult index, or adult abundance, to control effort, or field days, over time. So you'll see in 2020, we had a significantly lower amount of effort. And again, that was due in part to limited travel. We could not travel any further than about a 90-mile radius from the Ludington and Marquette biological stations due to COVID-19. So moving into 2021, you can see that the control effort increased sharply. We were back out delivering treatments, albeit the 2022 adult index did spike significantly, which was expected. When you stop treating for sea lamprey, they bounce right back. So now with a sustained control effort, we have been able to bring that abundance or that adult index down somewhere in those pre-pandemic management levels. So some highlights from this past field season include a treatment on the Rogue River, which is a tributary to the Grand River above the 6th Street Dam. This was brought about by a high water event in the Grand River. So that system was treated for the second time, with the first treatment being back in 2008. There was a first-time treatment on Thompson Creek, and Sunny Brook was treated for the first time since 1971. Currently, barriers are the only alternative control method used in a management context. So within the Alternative Control and Evaluation Unit, or the barrier side of the program, our focus is to operate and maintain effective sea lamprey blocking structures. They block upstream sea lamprey migration, and then also to construct new structures where barriers are a cost-effective alternative and compatible with a system's watershed plan. So limiting upstream migration reduces the treatment area or the number of stream miles requiring treatment. So this is a big benefit in managing sea lamprey. So the Commission has invested in 15 barriers. You'll see those sites listed here on the map. And in those 15 barriers on Lake Michigan, 6 are purpose-built sea lamprey control barriers, and 9 are existing barriers that were modified by the Great Lakes Fishery Commission to block sea lamprey migrations. We also have a lot of other barrier projects in Lake Michigan, so just running through some of those updates. On the Manistee River, the Michigan DNR recently acquired 35 acres for the project. We still have 2 parcels remaining that are needed for that project, with estimated construction scheduled for somewhere around 2026. On the Little Manistee River, right around the current weir, on that system, that project has reached a 90% design phase, and that construction is scheduled for this summer. On the Baldwin River, a tributary to the Pure Marquette River, the old Baldwin River Hatchery Dam has been removed, and plans were recently approved to realign the historic stream channel and construct a barrier or sea lamprey barrier downstream of the 8th Street Bridge location. On the Boardman River, exciting news here, following the August 2023 Michigan Supreme Court ruling, the Fish Pass project is moving forward. And in Swan Creek, a tributary to the Kalamazoo River, we're working to identify alternatives for improving sea lamprey blockage simultaneous with the removal of the current Swan Creek Dam. Some additional updates from work from the barrier side of the program from this past field season include consultations to ensure blockage at barriers at 38 sites in 19 streams. 81 barriers around Lake Michigan were inspected to ground truth for the barrier inventory database. And in this lowest picture, aging stop logs were replaced on the Grand River 6th Street Dam fishway. So guiding and directing the lampricide control effort around the lake, larval assessment surveys are conducted in streams throughout the basin, primarily using bagpack electrofishing units like seen here in this picture, to determine the presence, extent of infestation, and relative abundance. So this past field season, assessments were conducted on 129 tributaries and 20 lentic areas. The good news is there's no newly infested tributaries upstream of the 6th Street Dam on the Grand River, nor were there any additional infestations detected around the lake. Risk management addresses environmental and non-target issues related to the implementation of the sea lamprey control program, both in the United States and Canada. This involves coordination with many federal, provincial, state, and tribal agencies, So they do a lot of work that support non-target concerns and really help support the Lamprey control portion of the program. So in this recent field season, they completed stream-side tests to determine the toxicity of TFM to log perch, which are historically a sensitive species to lamprey. They participated in the partner-led Save Our Sturgeon collection effort prior to the Manistee River lamprey treatment, working with partners to collect 186 young-of-year lake sturgeon and 11 yearlings. And they assisted with TFM toxicity tests to larval and juvenile life stages of hickory nut and round hickory nut mussels. And those results indicate that TFM is not acutely toxic to either species at the concentrations applied during lamprey stream treatments. So in streams where traditional controls are less effective, the program now has a supplemental sea lamprey control initiative, or SubCon. And as part of this initiative, 12 experimental streams have been selected for the application of supplemental controls. This does include 2 Lake Michigan streams, those circled in red, being Furlong Creek to the Lacokens and Bills Creek to the Whitefish. So again, these are going to be tools to divert, remove, and disrupt more of that adult sea lamprey life stage. And this work has been approved by the Great Lakes Fishery Commission starting in 2024 through 2029. So in these study streams to Lake Michigan, the proposal to implement these controls for Bills Creek is scheduled for 2025 and Furlong Creek in 2029. And both of these pictures, one is a beaver dam right in the middle of the system. So that traditional top-down approach of a sea lamprey control treatment is not effective in eliminating larvae, which then persist through the treatment and then are just a source of production out to the lake. And the other is also another beaver dam in which staff have to work to remove those and try to get lamprey to flow through some of those blocked areas of the stream. So there will be different tactics for each of these streams, and that will involve sea lamprey traps, sterile male release, and potentially seasonal electrical barriers. So the much anticipated 2024 treatment schedule for lamprey stream treatments is here in front of you. There is 29 stream treatments scheduled. That includes the 2 deferred streams from 2023 and 4 lentic area treatments or offshore treatments using a granular formulation of TFM or lamprey. And some of this work is part of the targeted treatment strategy, which is just a specialized group of treatment effort that we are then dedicating to all 3 of the upper lakes for the 2024 field season. So with a significant amount of effort here in front of you with 29 stream treatments, we do expect to see that adult index or adult abundance of sea lampreys in Lake Michigan continue to decrease. So while this concludes the sea lamprey control report for Lake Michigan for 2023, I would like to acknowledge the control agents throughout the program who are passionately dedicated to this work and make it possible for us to support native fish restoration and other fish community objectives throughout the basin. So with that, I'm certainly happy to take any questions.